Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Zemo, the dad in DPS, and today we are back once again with another episode of Scrip My Pants, a series where I go to the purveyor, spend 2,000 scrip, and then have a mental breakdown somewhere mid between that. Either way, guys, if you enjoy these types of videos, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Alrighty, so what we're going to do this week is another set of melee weapons. And as usual, we're going to spend 2,000 scrip and see what we get. So first weapon we're going with today, Medic Boxing Glove with action points and 1 strength. Now, Medics is not the best effect at all. Replies action points with each kill, not really what I'm interested in. 1 strength, however, is one of the best effects you can get in that bottom bit, with some exceptions. But yeah, absolutely fantastic effect at the bottom, but 2 kind of crappy effects. Troubleshooter's Sheepscot Staff with critical damage and weight reduction. At least it's got the weight reduction, so it doesn't take room in my inventory. But everything else on there, damage to robots, I just don't rate anything that specifically targets anything. At least not yet. They might buff that in the future, you never know. Critical damage can be okay, but just very sad effect. Nocturnal Mr. Handy Buzzblade with Weapon Speed and Weapons Break 5% slower. The only good effect on there is the bottom one with Weapons Break slower. Weapon Speed is completely useless on a weapon like this, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't, but it definitely is. You didn't hear that. Furious Sheep Squatch Staff with melee damage while not moving and Vance critical charge. This one is kinda, it's okay. Furious isn't a bad effect, and melee damage while not moving isn't a bad effect. But at the same time, it's never what I'm looking for, and never something I would really use because of the way I play melee. I'm never not moving, and a lot of the time I'm getting big enough hits that things die too quickly to ramp up Furious. You could use it on a boss, I suppose, but outside that, I don't think it's a very good effect. Or very good weapon, rather. Anti-armor Bowie Knife with melee damage while blocking and endurance. Now, the biggest problem with this one is I just don't block. I just do not block. But other than that, the anti-armor and the endurance are actually good rolls. Endurance is always a good thing on a melee weapon because it gives you, resistances, all that kind of stuff. But being said, does it really justify not using it over strength? It's hard to say. It really is hard to say because strength gives you the extra damage. So yeah, it's an okay roll, but not the best. Certainly not the best. Exterminator's Hatchet with replenish action points with each kill and 1 strength. Exterminators, again, specific damage, replenish action points with each kill. I just don't rate it. I just don't rate it on melee weapons. Maybe on guns, but not on melee. And then the 1 strength, as usual, is the good roll that's on here. Sad, but true. Vampire's Meat Hook, 40 weapon speed and 1 agility. Now this one is not a god roll, but it's actually very close to it. Vampire swing speed on any melee weapon is potentially a really good one, and this is a relatively fast swinging weapon. Meat hooks are also actually really good fist weapons. So yeah, this one's actually quite nice. I do have a lot better though, so this will be one that I will put into the bag for things that are up for grabs. So yeah, a good little pull, definitely a decent little weapon. At one point, meat hooks were actually one of the best fist weapons in the game and could do insane damage. Zealot Sledgehammer with limb damage and Vats crit. Everything about this is bad. Everything about it, the weapon and the stuff in there, it just doesn't go together. It's just a very bad set of effects. Next up, Furious Board with power attack damage and weapon speed. It's not actually that bad a pull. Boards typically are fragile, so having weapons break slower on there is a good idea. Power attack damage is not a bad effect, and Furious is not a bad effect, though I don't know how it would work in use. It's actually something I might test out. I've never tested a board, I don't think. Yeah, we might test this one out. Definitely worth keeping, or at least giving away. Next up, we have the Suppressor's Chinese Sword with power attack and 1 agility. Suppress is a very bad effect. Power attack is good, but 1 agility just is not the best. Gives you AP, all that kind of stuff, but very Suppressor just ruins it, to be honest. It makes it completely useless. Next one, We have the Aristocrats multi-purpose axe with replenish action points, damage taken while blocking. Now, Aristocrats was a good effect drop there. The other two just completely ruin this weapon and make it, you know, nothing but Scrip, unfortunately. I just don't rate either of those effects on melee. It is the very unfortunate thing with certain effects. Like, I think blocking is... Like, when enemies block, you can't do any damage to them. When we block, it's... eh. Nocturnal Bone Club with blocking and 1 strength. Again, the only good effect there is a strength, and it is a Bone Club as well, so it's not particularly the best weapon that you can get either way. Next up, Nocturnal Chainsaw, weapon speed, and breaks 50% slower. The only good effect on there is the break 50% slower, because weapon speed does not affect the rotation of this weapon, and it's nocturnal, so everything about it is just kind of naff. Weapon speed, though, is actually quite good on these types of weapons because they break quite quickly. Next, Mutant's Power Fist. Replenish action points with each kill, 90% reduced weight. I mean, Mutants, again, as a starting kind of damage type is not bad. Replenish action points for each kill, just, I do not rate it. And then that reduced weight, you know, it's a kind of weapon you can put in storage, kind of thing you carry around. But, again, it's just not... I think it's more Scrip than it is anything else, to be honest. Anti-armor, the Tenderizer with melee damage while not moving and 1 agility. I mean, an okay boss weapon, I suppose. Armor pennon, damage while not moving. There's lots of reasons why you could use this weapon and get away with smashing into things. Not something I'd particularly use, maybe something I'll put in the giveaway pile, but yeah, damage while not moving just doesn't fit my playstyle when I play melee. I move around way too much for it to matter. Mutant's Rolling Pin with reflection and 1 endurance. Again, probably Scrip. I think because it's a rolling pin, I can't justify the effects that are on there. It's very, very So, sad times. Very sad times. Is what it is, though. Mutant Slayer's Pipe Wrench, power attack, 90% reduced weight. Mutant Slayer's, this could have been an okay little weapon, but the Mutant Slayer's just completely ruins it. It doesn't add anything to the weapon at all and just makes it kind of naff. Power attack damage is always good though, and the weight reduction, again, is always good because, you know, it means you can carry more and more weapons. 3 more to go. Suppressor Switchblade with power attack and 1 strength. Again, this could have been decent, but I had to have suppressors on that main effect. Suppressors just... I don't even know why it exists. They need a rework of some of these legendary effects, because there are some effects that just will never get any usage whatsoever. This is one of them. Like, the only people using this have no other options. It's just very unfortunate. Mutant Slayer's Ripper with critical damage and damage taken while blocking. Just a bad series of effects, sadly. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't want it. It is going in the Scrip machine. We've got 1 more. Hopefully we get a good one. Anti-armor Guitar Sword with replenish action points with each kill, 1 endurance. This one I think is another one for the Scrip bin, unfortunately. Yeah. Let's see what top picks were. Now for the first pick for tonight, I think I'm going to go with the Anti-Armor Tenderizer with melee damage while not moving and 1 agility. The reason for that is, while these effects aren't necessarily bad, they're not exactly what I would personally be looking for. Melee damage while not moving is one of those effects that I think would be useful if you are not a fidgety bugger like me. When I play melee, I'm moving around constantly, and if you make a point of standing still while you melee, then this will be a good damaging effect. But for me, I move around too much. It really is. But, you know, someone might get some use out of it. As the next pick, we've got the Furious Board with power attack damage and weapons break 50% slower. Now, weapons break 50% slower is always a decent effect because it stops your weapons from having to be repaired quite as often. Power attack damage is incredibly good on 2-handed weapons, and Furious means if we're hitting something big enough, then this is going to be able to rack up some decent damage. The main reason it's not, you know, higher is because it's a freaking board. It's not the best melee weapon in the game for certain, and it does break relatively easy in comparison, but at the same time, breaks 50% slower, does slow that down. And I think our top pick for night has to be the Vampire's Meat Hook with weapon speed and 1 agility. Now this weapon has a relatively decent swing speed to begin with. Meat hooks are very underrated these days. At one point they used to be one of the most insane melee weapons in the game, and they're still really good. You add on the third hooks, the extra hooks, and this thing is going to be able to do some damage. Combine that with Explosive Palm and the Vampire's effect, this is going to allow you to regenerate health relatively easily. I have been using meat hooks for years and I've never thought that they were bad. So yeah, definitely a good pick, definitely a good pull, and up for grabs if somebody wants it. So that was today's video. Now, obviously not the best haul of weapons we've ever had, but we did get some decent stuff there that is potentially usable on certain characters. And that's the kind of aim of this. Find stuff that you're not necessarily looking for, but, you know, maybe want to try. Either way, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time in the Wasteland.
Feeling the heat, I'm taking a gamble, brain poker with the devil. In shadows we ramble, cards on the table. The stakes run high, a twisted game of fate.